What is up, crew? It's your boy Kaycem, and on today's stream we're going to be going over how to draw the torso from different angles, and I'll be talking about drawing the torso from front view, side view, back view, all of these different things, so that way you guys can draw the torso out. And I'll also be going over things like the simple forms, the anatomy, as well as maybe some differences between muscular male characters, female characters, and so forth. Now, if it's your first time here, welcome into the Kaycem crew. My name is Kaycem, and I am a Filipino art streamer here on Twitch, currently right now working for the studio that made Castlevania, and we cover a lot of different topics on my stream. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, subscribe, and if you're watching from Twitch, make sure to follow as well. But with that being said, let's get this one going. All right, so with all of that, guys, let's go in here because we're gonna get started on drawing the torso out, and let's get this one going. So with this first off reference that we got here, I want to go over some of the basic forms with you guys. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about some of the simple shapes that I like to visualize when I am looking at drawing the torso. So one of the first things I like to do is actually just kind of work on establishing a little bit of a box shape here. And I've told you guys a couple times that, you know, the torso, you can draw it however you want. You want to draw it as an egg shape, an oval shape, a box shape. It's really up to you. I like to use these boxy shapes here just for the demos, just to kind of show you guys a quick and simple way to visualize the volume of the torso, because I think personally one of the more difficult things that I see a lot of beginner artists struggling with is not being able to visualize the three-dimensionality of the things that they're drawing, right? Like, how many of you guys in the chat, maybe you've drawn a character and you felt like it looks a little flat, right? It looks like maybe you drew a little circle, you put a little triangle jaw thing, and you were like, let me slap on an eye sticker, right? And then you try to draw it from a different angle and it doesn't feel the same. It kind of feels very flat. Eye sticker. You know, I'm talking about. Put an F in the chat if you've ever had that issue with your drawings where you're just like, man, they don't feel like they're popping. Maybe the foreshortening's not there or anything like that, right? I think one of the best things to kind of get started with, if you are looking to level up your skills, I'd probably say draw some boxes. I know it's kind of silly, but if you think about it, we're all made of boxes. Torso, rib cage, all of that stuff. Now, when it comes... what is this? Okay, I was gonna say, when it comes to drawing this torso here, I'm gonna be focusing primarily on this side view of this guy so far, and I'm gonna be tilting the torso a little bit. So let me just kind of give that some room. But there you go. We've got kind of this structure here for the torso, and there's a couple ways that we can draw this. And right now I'm just drawing it from kind of this simplified top view, and I'm putting the perspective line here. Now we're not gonna get too much into perspective today, so I have a different video for that, or a different stream for that. But today I'm just going to show you guys kind of a simplified box, and then I'll try to draw the one that's in the reference here, right? So you can imagine that this is how the torso is going to look like in side view. And one of the interesting things to call out about the torso in side view is going to be that the torso basically has some volume here, right? But obviously this volume is not going to be as thick or as wide as the volume that we have in the front or back view. So, and the reason why this is the case is actually because of how the rib cage is structured. So let me go ahead and draw out a quick little rib cage right here for you guys, and we'll get this one going. A little ribby cage here. By the way, today's stream is going to be a little bit shorter, guys. I know. Usually Saturday streams are my longest streams, but today I'm actually trying to level up my own art skills, and I'm taking a class at Brainstorm today on drawing. What is it? Drawing cinematic scenes in perspective. I think it's an advanced topic, but I got to level up as well. I got to make sure my skills are on par there. And so I'm taking this class later today. So unfortunately, this stream will have to be cut a little short. So that's why I'm going to try to speed up a little bit here today with kind of the intro stuff and talking about all the basic forms. And then after that, we'll draw some of the more chill stuff. But you can kind of imagine here the rib cage here kind of being this egg-shaped structure. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this before, this kind of egg-shaped form for the rib cage. But again, I'm visualizing kind of this simplified anatomy first of a box, because it's really trying to represent something more organic, like a torso here, right? So you can kind of imagine, right here, we're going to be having this form like so, and then from there, you can kind of, fill in all the other forms and stuff, right? So let's kind of go in here, and I'm not going to use that reference exactly, or maybe I should, because it might confuse you guys. So let me go in here and change up the perspective of this box now to kind of match the perspective of the torso that we have here in the drawing. But again, this is mostly just to kind of show you guys the structure there, and also one of the things to call out as well is going to be some of the proportions here. So we've talked about it a few times in my other streams, but an easy way to draw the torso is to imagine drawing a square kind of form like this, and then you take that square form down again, you duplicate that, and then you draw that in here for that torso. So this kind of gives you a nice kind of general proportion of the rib cage, and as well as the pelvis here. And notice how I also added a little bit of a tilt, right? So there's a tilting going, there's a tilting of the rib cage going facing this way, and then here the pelvis is going this way. So keep that in mind as well. And yeah, it's going to be that Spencer Wan class. I'm excited for it. And hey, Misprint, welcome back in. How's it going, Misprint? Thank you for 14 months. And yeah, I know my dog is on his bed today. Claps. Yeesh. Okay, but now let's go ahead and actually draw this guy out here. And now I'm going to use a little bit more looser forms just to kind of get this one going. So let's kind of, keep it nice and loose here. And I want to try to show you guys some of the simple forms first that I look at when I'm drawing something like this torso. And then we'll also go over the anatomy as well, because I know a lot of you guys are big fans of the anatomy. Okay. So we're going to go in, I'm just laying out here simplified shapes, and you can kind of see how these shapes are going to be a little bit more organic, right? A little bit rounder and stuff. But I'm always thinking about how there's volume in these things, right? So here's that center line. If it helps you to visualize what's going on there, that center line can be a really helpful tool for understanding the volume of the structure that you got here. Okay. So let me go ahead and draw the rest of this out, and then we'll talk about it a bit more. But yeah, for those of you guys who are here watching live, I got to ask you guys, how's your weekend been so far? I know we're almost done with the weekend, basically. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how's the week been? Would you say it was a good week? Would you say it was a meh week? I think for me, in retrospect, I would say overall this week has been a solid 7. It's been a good solid 7 for me. Hey, it is a vibe. Okay, so you can imagine here now we have this simplified form, and again, just keeping it nice and loose. It doesn't have to be perfect here with the reference, but I'm trying to keep the proportions here not too big, because even though this guy is a muscular character, keep in mind that not all, the skeletal anatomy is going to be relatively the same regardless of whether or not you're drawing a skinny character, a fat character, a muscular character, a small character. The rib cage is not going to be that much larger. A lot of what you see in the proportions and stuff actually come from the muscles and the fat of the body, right? So just kind of keep that in mind, because sometimes I see people draw like very large kind of shapes for the skeletal anatomy, but that's not actually what's going on there. So right now I'm going to go in and I'm just going to place in some simple forms. Now I'm going to put in like a little joint there for the arm, and I'm just trying to keep this here, and then what we'll do is we'll lay the anatomy on top. But you can kind of see already I'm taking this this kind of shape that we have here on the left side, or sorry, the right side that I just drew, and I'm just giving it a little bit more shape, making it feel a little bit more human, because what we drew earlier with the the guy was kind of stiff, right? You kind of have these boxy forms, and that's completely fine. I think having the having the rigidity by drawing a box can actually be really helpful, because rigidity can give you clarity in terms of how the structure and the forms are actually looking like. So I think that's very valuable. So let's go ahead here and get this one going. And let me add some shadow shapes in here just to, you know, make it look a little nicer. Actually, let's do it on the other side. That way I only have to shade one. Easy. We're just shading this one here. Cool. All right. So let's go ahead now and let's talk again about the simplified forms that we have here. Got a 5 out of 10 for the week, 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. Okay. I would say it's a good average 6 this week. But we got a few 3s though. Sorry to hear about the 3s. I feel that. I would say most days were pretty good, and then there were some days that were kind of meh. All right, and let's get this one. Let's jump right in now. So here, I'm gonna ignore some of the anatomy of the legs, so just kind of keep that in mind that we're not focusing on the legs today. We'll say that for another stream. So I'm just gonna kind of simplify this one out here as, again, another basic primitive form there. All right, cool. Let's go ahead now and let's lower the opacity and let's start laying out some of the anatomy and seeing the torso now from this angle, whereas before we've mostly drawn our characters either from front view or from back view, right? So this will be kind of the first time we're going to be really tackling it from a bit more of a side view, and so we'll be seeing more of the muscles here on the side of the rib cage, and that's what we're going to be talking primarily about today, because that's kind of it, really. There's not much of a big difference. I will do a quick demo later of just showing it in complete profile view, and so that way you'll see what I'm talking about there. All right. Oh, hold on, really quick, guys. I need to turn off the fan here. Give me a sec. I was wondering why it was so hot. I was like, I have like a heater fan thing on the side there, but I think it was getting a little too hot in my room. Okay, so let's go ahead now and let's talk about arguably one of my most favorite bones out here is going to be the clavicle. Now the clavicle, if you guys don't know, that's basically the shoulder, not the shoulder, sorry, that's the collarbone here. And so if you actually kind of feel against your body here, you touch yourself right here, you'll actually find that clavicle pretty much right here, lining up from the center of the sternum all the way going back there. Also, thank you for the follows, guys. Confrontation, appreciate the follow. And also we've got the Stormthorn, thank you for the follow as well. And we also got Akasha, El Hune, and everybody else who's been following today. Appreciate you guys joining in to the Kaycem crew. If you guys are new here, by the way, welcome in. My name is Kaycem, and I am a Filipino art streamer here on Twitch, and I teach everything from anatomy, gesture, perspective, to all things related to character design. And I also work full-time in the animation industry for the studio that made Castlevania. And right now I'm prepping to work as a character designer on shows like Castlevania, Legend of Korra, and Invincible. So if you guys are interested in some character design focused education, or you're just looking to hang out on a stream on a weekend or whatever, make sure to leave a follow, join in, check me out on YouTube and all that stuff. Is it the Dyson urinal? My fan? Yes, it was. Thank you for the 200 bits, Prebis. Appreciate that. Sheesh. All right, so we got here the clavicle, and the reason why I think the clavicle is really important is because, again, this is going to be a major landmark for connecting the rest of the body there, right? So, or the rest of the anatomy from the head to the torso, head, neck, and then torso. So let's go in here and let us go and lay out some of the muscle groups. Now, the first one I'm actually going to knock out the way first is going to be that shoulder muscle. And the reason why is because the shoulder muscle is, surprisingly, it's connected to the torso, if you guys didn't know. It's a major muscle that connects basically the arms to the body. And so it's good to know how it works when you're trying to understand the torso, but we're not going to talk about the rest of the arms here. We're just going to kind of lay that one out there. So I'm just going to put it on here. I can do a quick little kind of denotion of the muscle groups here, and then we'll continue. Hey, thank you for the follows, Liam the T Panda, and also Kazuha Give. Welcome in, guys. The delts, yeah, the deltoid muscles. It's a great muscle group, and honestly, it does a lot for, you know, for arm mobility and whatnot. But okay, there's the delts right there, and then keep in mind again that the deltoid muscle, even though the arm, you're going to see most of the deltoid here, the deltoid actually tapers all the way down here. All the tendon actually goes a little bit further down here. So just keep that in mind. But let's go ahead and simplify the arm here. I'm just going to draw out the tricep, and we're not going to worry too much about that today. So don't be too stressed if you're like, yo, what is all this? Tricep, biceps, right? Don't worry about that. I'm going to just simplify it for you guys right here. We're going to chop up his arm. See you later. And there you go. Cool. Just giving it a little, you know, little arm there. All right, but let's go in now, and let's start laying out the rest of the torso now. Primarily the parts here that we care about for drawing the torso in side view. All right. Thank you for the follow too, Oliansky, and also Deanne, Anya. Thank you guys. For those of you who are following today, I'd love to know how you guys found my stream. Was it through the recommended section, front page, the art category on Twitch, or are you from YouTube? Because I know there are people who are following me from YouTube now, which actually makes me really happy. There was somebody left a really sweet comment on my YouTube video recently, and I don't know, it just kind of made me feel good about making videos on YouTube. So I'm gonna keep doing my best for those of you who are out here. But yeah, for those of you who did follow today, I'd love to know. I'd love to know what brought you guys here. What got you guys interested? Was it anything from Twitch, or was it just these red smiley nips? It could have just been this, honestly. People see this on a thumbnail and they're like, looks kind of sus. I might just click. I might just click on it and see what I get. But all right, anyways, let's go ahead now and let's talk about the other muscle here that connects to the clavicle, and that is going to be none other than the pelvis. Now, if you got, not the pelvis, sorry, the pectorals. I'm at a loss for words today. The pectoral muscles. The pelvis does not connect to the clavicle. That would be very weird. That would be, you'd have your pelvis like right here, which would be very, very MODOK. Yeah. And hey, thank you for the follow, K Calvin. Appreciate that as well. Welcome in. And also aloha alpha. And every comment in your YouTube video is sweet. It's true. I will see how long that lasts. I hear that YouTube can get toxic at times, and so, well, you'll never know. But right now, I appreciate all the comments. But even if there are bad comments, I appreciate all comments. But yes, let's go back in here and laying out now that pectoral muscle. Now the pectoral muscles are interesting because they basically connect from the clavicle here. So the kind of the first third here, the clavicle closest to the front there next to the sternum, and they're actually going to go insert into the humerus bone here, the upper joint there of the humerus. So keep that in mind, that even though the pectoral muscles are primarily on the chest, they are also going to wrap into and insert into the arm, which means when you raise the arm like this, that's also going to pull up your torso. All right, so the boobas, everything. All right, if you're drawing female anime waifus, when you're raising the arms up, guys, these got to go up a little bit too. Okay, try it yourself. Raise your arms up. You'll be like, oh my, wow, you're right. So keep that in mind. The pectoral muscles are not just muscles that slap on the chest. They also go into the arm here. Now, as we move on the other side here, I'll do both sides, but I'll kind of give it some perspective and stuff here. As we get into the other side right here, I'm going to kind of bring the curvature back, and we're just going to kind of lay it all down here. And, you know, just add a little bit of shoulder on this side as well. Not too much, because again, we are kind of keeping the, I want to keep it relatively in side view for the most part. Let's see here. Only 72 followers off from 30K. That'll be super cool. I found you in the art category on Twitch when I followed not too long ago, and I'm happy to see an artist that's genuine. I think there are too many anime girl women content on Twitch, and that's not what I'm looking for. Yeah, I appreciate you dropping that comment. You know, I got nothing against my anime waifu streamers, but I do agree that there's a lot out there, and I don't think there's as many people who are just like teaching art, which initially, before I started streaming, teaching and all that stuff on Twitch, I really didn't think people would be even interested. I was like, who would want to watch somebody talking about anatomy and stuff when they can go to the stream next to me and watch anime waifu? You know what I'm saying? Like, anatomy, boobas, you know. But apparently, people like some anatomy, and I appreciate that. May I ask, how did you get into that position? You're working at Powerhouse? Yeah, you can ask. Definitely. I actually encourage you guys to ask. Feel free to ask any questions and stuff. But I just applied. There was an opening for the studio. I applied for it. I took a test for it, and I passed the drawing test, and then I had an interview. I passed the interview, and yeah, that was kind of it. Nothing crazy, actually. Nothing like too nothing different, I would say, from what maybe other industry studio jobs are. You just apply for the job, cross your fingers, hope they see you, hope they see your work, and hope they like your work. Yeah, that was mostly it. Totally agree with you on that. I look for our channels to watch when you're not here, and I find anime waifus. Yeah, it happens. Thank you so much for all the follows today, though. Angsty Puppeteer, Anime Shay, Corzo, Itadori Yuji, great name, Joe Colony, and everybody else coming in here. By the way, really quick, guys, I actually do run ads on my stream every hour, so one's going to be running right about now. If you do get an ad, thank you again. They do help keep my streams monetarily viable and allow me to do what I'm doing out here on Twitch. But if you don't want to see any ads, consider subscribing or using a Prime sub. But either way, thank you for your support, and hope to see you guys out there. If you're watching from YouTube, don't worry. There's not going to be any ads for my YouTube viewers when you're watching this later. Which, by the way, for those of you guys who are tuning in for the first time, I got a YouTube channel full of art tutorials like you're seeing here, and they're edited so that way it's a little bit cleaner and stuff, so you can kind of watch all that stuff there without having to scrub through the VODs. So. Yeah, if you guys are interested. But let me see. I missed a few questions out here in the chat. Let's see. Do you do abs as line work or shading? Do I do abs as line work or shading? I think it depends. It depends on the style that you're trying to go for. Personally, I like to do them as both. I do some denotions of the harder edges that you'll see in this torso section, and then the rest of it I'll fill out with some shadows. Let me see if I have an example of this for my draw it in your style that I'm working on right now. I'm rendering out a piece right now. Oh, okay. Well, you don't see his abs, but there are some abs here, and let me see if I can actually give me a sec. Nope, it's blocked by the helmet. But yeah, there's basically some I do a bit of both is what I'm trying to say. So I do some lines, and then I do some shading. Oh, nice. That's super awesome, Devil Dog. Sculpting. 3D sculpting or sculpting? Thank you for the follow to Viompa. When you finish the boot camps, will you ever just do streams of you drawing for fun? Yeah, here and there. So we've done a few of those for sure on my streams, but I think with my content and my brand, I try to keep it still very educational because, you know, at the end of the day, educational art streamer out here, and so I gotta keep doing all that. But I do on occasion, yes, do some more kind of like fun stuff with you guys. We'll be doing more drawing challenges. So usually the boot camps, the way that the boot camps work is the first couple boot camps and whatever that we're going to be doing, they're going to be primarily very much on the fundamentals. So talking more about the anatomy, more of the technical aspects of the fundamentals. But as we kind of move forward with stuff, it'll get more subjective, and we'll talk more about like, hey, let's do some character designs and talk about how to draw old people or how to draw monsters, you know, that kind of stuff. And we'll keep that one, and that one's a little bit more loose, not about like, hey, these are the muscle groups, you know, and it's more about coming up with your own ideas and stuff. So that's kind of how I approach it. So usually we'll go over the basics first, and then from those basics, we'll continue forward. But yeah, hopefully that sounds interesting to you guys. But okay, let's go back in here now, and let's now lay in the lower portion there of the torso. Okay. So the lower portion of the torso is actually really interesting because it'll be comprised of a couple of muscles. But the first one is actually going to be the abdominal muscles, also known as the abs, the six pack, all of those different things that you might have heard them as. Now, the easiest way that I think about it is I actually just take the fifth rib here of the rib cage, and the fifth rib is basically going to be halfway roughly from the clavicle, aka your collarbone, to that 10th rib. So if you guys try to look for your 10th rib right here, it's this bony protrusion on the sides of your rib cage. So try to, you know, touch yourself educationally, of course. And then from here, halfway, should be roughly about where your nipples are, where the sternum there ends. And that's going to be kind of where that fifth rib is. Now I'm going to take that and use that information to kind of line up here where the abdominals are going to start. And the ab muscles are actually going to vary depending on whether you're drawing a male or female. And by that, I'm talking primarily about the shape. So when it comes to drawing out, let's say, this ab muscle, for male characters, usually it's kind of a taper going this way. So it's a little bit wider at the torso here. And as it gets closer down to the pelvis, it'll kind of taper in. Whereas for a female character, you can kind of see here, there's a bit of an oval shape a little bit. And so that can also vary and kind of have a little bit more of a roundness to it. But again, these are more generalizations, right? So you can always mix it around and stuff. But I find that this kind of works really well, especially if you're trying to stylize, you know, do a little bit of that anime style, if you know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go in here, just kind of slap on all these simplified forms for the, again, this is going to be for the abdominals right there. And then let's go in first and actually draw some of the other muscles on the side before we work on the ab muscles. All right. So we're gonna leave it as kind of this like a long slab of meat right here before we carve it out and stuff. Let me see here. Let me read this one out. Kaycem, I'm a beginner and I'm finding it hard to draw what I want because I gravitate towards drawing pretty complex things. And then I get down on myself. I draw right now with pencil eraser because I don't feel good enough at digital. Okay. Any advice on what to draw? I want to have fun and grow, but not get bored drawing boxes over and over. Okay. That's actually great. That's actually a great question because how many of you guys in the chat, I'm gonna ask this question to everybody. How many guys in the chat right now, put an F in the chat if you've ever been frustrated because you have things that you want to draw in your head, right? You got these crazy ideas, but for some reason, whatever you put down on paper never looks as good as what you want, right? You just feel like, man, this is expectation, this is reality, and it's like, you can't even see it on the screen. Is this huge? You know, like the gap is just so large, right? Thank you for the 100 bits, Miss Brent. So here's an interesting way to kind of go about that idea, right? So the way that I think about it here is it's a matter, the frustration doesn't actually come from you wanting to do difficult things. I think it's great. If you are striving to want to do difficult things, I applaud you for that, right? I think part of the problem is the gap between your expectation of what you want to do and the reality that you're in. And that's where that frustration is. You're frustrated that there's a gap there to begin with. Now what I would say, and I'll, okay, hold on, here's what I'll do. Let me draw the torso out first, and then we'll talk about that. Cause I think this is a good conversation and I don't want to just like dance around it, I think it's a great topic. But let me go ahead and draw out the muscles first, and then somebody in the chat remind me to talk about this, because I will guaranteed forget in like 2 minutes. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about some of the muscles on the side here. Now, interestingly enough, really quick, all right, there's going to be a muscle here on the side of the rib cage that kind of lines up across the rib cage right here. And this muscle, you're not really going to see it on this guy, unfortunately. He's not as toned, or maybe the lighting is a little off here. But basically, this muscle kind of wraps around the rib cage here and lines along the rib cage. Now, I'll show you guys what that looks like in a diagram right here. Now, this muscle is known as the serratus muscle. All right. These muscles originate from the back of the scapula, the back of the shoulder blade there, and they wrap around, connecting to kind of each of the ribs of the rib cage there, or the first couple ones, not all of them. And then they're also going to interlock with something called the oblique muscles, which are these muscles right here on the side of the body, which kind of protect the stomach and all of that stuff. And they also connect to the ab muscles and the pelvis. All right. It's also going to be where you'll see a little bit of chunkiness right here, because that plus the fat of the body will give you that kind of curve on the side of the hips there. So now that we kind of have an idea of what we're looking for, let's go ahead and lay out these zigzag patterns. And there's so many different ways to denote this, so just keep that in mind. But I'm going to go ahead here and just kind of place in first the oblique muscles kind of going in at this zigzag pattern. So you could imagine that this was the abs right here. And let me actually draw out that rib cage too. So maybe we'll find that 10th rib right here. Okay. So let's go ahead now and find where we want that arch to be. And so the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out here the obliques going this way. Then we'll have the serratus going this way first. Then we'll do the kind of this interlocking zigzag pattern. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about here, but you might have seen this in maybe if you've seen like an anime, you know what I'm talking about, and they always have like a character who's like super ripped, and they got these like zigzag side muscles, right? But let's see here. And oh, we got a JSON redemption. Remember to talk about the thing. What's the thing? I don't know what the thing is. All right, I'll do that real quick though. What's the thing?
Hey guys, it's me, Jason, and we got a message here from Misprint. They want me to remember to talk about the thing. What's the thing? I already forgot. What is it?
Damn. What? What are you guys talking about? What's the thing? Did I forget something? Why is everyone roasting me in chat? What did I forget? Huh? I feel like there's something I forgot. Damn. Oh, the comment. Damn. See, this is what I mean. I legit forgot. It hasn't even been 2 minutes. It hasn't even been 2 minutes. Damn. Thanks, guys. Okay. I will, I'm going crazy. Google dementia. Wow. And I knew I was going to forget too. That's so funny. Okay. Well, there you go. Thanks for the reminder. Wow. I can't believe I forgot. Dude, that's crazy. Am I okay? Am I all right? Let's go ahead and add a few more zigzags here. And again, I'm just kind of following the arch here of that little line that I put in there. And we're going to just kind of place in, again, you know, placing in all these forms. And it should be pretty nice and simple, not too complicated. It's really up to you how complicated you want to make it. But I'm going to keep it nice and simple for today. And again, I'm just wrapping around here these forms, and these are just some nice little muscle groups that you can put in. And then we'll definitely clean this one up in a bit to make it look nicer. But I just wanted to show you guys where to place these muscles if you're looking to, you know, do all that. Now I'll talk about the ones here on the inner side because you might be a little confused about what's going on there. So I'll talk about that right now. Now you're not really going to see it here, but basically over here, the lat muscles on the backside are going to wrap around there. And so that is going to be happening, and that's going to kind of stop that intersection there. But we'll kind of go down here now, and let me just kind of add in the remaining portion of the obliques here. So the way that the obliques work, basically there are two major portions of the obliques, okay? There's going to be one, the thoracic portion of the obliques, and that's going to be that zigzagging pattern that I just showed you guys. That's one here, like these kind of things, right? And then as it kind of goes down here, you're going to have this major chunky portion right here, and that's going to be called the flank portion of the obliques, okay? So you have these two portions. One is going to be more toned out. You'll see it there intersecting, and then you'll have the flank portion on the other side. Now, as we go in here, this oblique muscle actually wraps around and connects to the pelvis. There's going to be this thing called the iliac crest of the pelvis right there, and that's kind of what you're seeing right there. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind. Again, I'm going to simplify the torso out, so don't worry too much about the torso today. But, you know, I was going to show you guys really quick. And let me go ahead and do it on the other side as well. I'm just going to add a little bit of a line right there. Mostly what we're going to be seeing is the ab muscles, but, you know, it's good to slap it on there. Okay. Also, let me know, guys, if I'm going too fast or if you want me to repeat something or just anything like that. I will try my best to explain it out and kind of show you how these things work. But again, a lot of these things are things that you don't like. You'll learn it over time, right? So like, it's not just like, oh, you learn anatomy once and you'll never have to learn anatomy ever again. I always say, you know, you learn it a couple times and each time you practice it, you'll get better at it. It's like learning a language almost, you know. It's not like you just read the dictionary or something and you learn how English works. You kind of have to practice it a little bit, try it out a few times in different scenarios. Maybe you'll draw the body in different angles and then you'll be like, oh, okay, I kind of get it, you know. I kind of understand how it works. But all right, let's go in here now and let's talk finally about the ab muscles, because I think we've basically laid out the groundwork, and I think this groundwork here will help us out for drawing out the abdominal muscles that we have right here. Okay, so let's talk about abs now, because right now we have kind of this lumpy structure that we drew out earlier. And then after the abs, I'll talk about I'll talk about the expectation versus reality thing that we brought up earlier. Thank you for the follows too. Veyate, Angel One, 4 Anders, and everybody who's here today. Welcome into the Kaycem crew, guys. Thanks for the quench. Let's see. It can get frustrating too and almost feels boring after constant repetition, but in the long run it'll help you, but also a hard pill to swallow. Yeah, I agree. I think the thing about art, which can be good or bad, is that art and being an artist is really a long-term endeavor. You know, if you really want to be an artist, I think coming to terms and realizing that you'll probably be doing this for a pretty long time, right? And that art and the progression of art is something that's never ending. If that doesn't scare you, then you're good. You're okay, because I think there are some people who, you know, want that gratification right away. They want to get good right away to be able to do the things that they see on the TV, right? Or the things that they read, all the comics or whatever. And they're like, how do I get there right away? How do I get to the stuff that I'm seeing on Instagram today? And they want to rush the process. But realizing, the sooner you realize that art is really, it's a long-term thing, right? And part of the enjoyment of that is enjoying that journey and enjoying the ride of being an artist. I think once you realize that, it's actually, I think it'll make art more fun. I know I sound crazy right now. People are like, art is fun, Kaycem? Tell that to me yesterday when I was crying because my piece looked like trash and I wanted to give up. How many of you guys have ever done a piece before and it turned out so bad that you just wanted to give up drawing, like right then and there? Put an F in the chat if you've ever had that. You were just like, this is absolutely the worst thing I've ever done. I'm never drawing again. I'm over. It's over. I've given up. Why did I even draw? Yeah. I get that. Art is fun, okay? Believe me on this. Trust me, guys. Art is fun. Art can be fun. And hey, Bushy Dragoon, welcome in. Hey, Kay, how does the remote work model it's supposed to have the original software beforehand, or is it possible that the selected company will provide them? It depends on the studio. The studio I work at provided me with the software. I just use Clip Studio Paint. But yes, that's a good question. All right, but let's go ahead and let's talk about the abs, and then we'll go over and work on we'll talk about some other fun stuff here. Okay, so when it comes to drawing abs, and we've done this a few times already before, but when it comes to drawing abs, the first thing to keep in mind is, one, finding out where that 10th rib cage is going to be, or sorry, the 10th rib of the rib cage is going to land, because if you can do that, you can basically find here where the arch here of that rib cage is going to, or of the abs are going to be. So this right here is going to be the first set here, or sorry, the second set of the abs, and then halfway from the sternum to there is usually where we're going to place the first set of abs. Now, again, keep in mind that abs are going to vary in shapes. They're going to vary in size. There are going to be some people with very kind of like symmetrical abs. There are going to be people with very asymmetrical abs. People are going to have larger front portions of the abs. Some are going to have more heavier kind of or thinner portions of the ab groups there. So it does vary a lot. So just kind of keep that in mind. You know, there's no like specific way to draw abs, but I'm kind of showing you guys more about like how to find the placement of the abs, and then you can obviously choose however you want to represent them. If you want to add more detail, go for it. If you don't want to add more detail, that's okay, right? You know, go with what feels right to you and the style and all of that stuff. So let's go in. I'm going to kind of add in the rest of the ab muscles here. I'm kind of doing a little bit of a zigzag pattern. And again, I'm just locking in the forms that I'm seeing. I'm kind of putting in that second set of abs right here. And I'm just trying to find some of that shape that I have right here. And then something that you could do as well is you can add a little bit of that silhouette here, right? Because the abs, remember, it's a three-dimensional shape. And so you can add some of that silhouette there to help kind of convey some of the form of the abdominal muscles that we're seeing there. But the last portion I'm going to call out is basically the third set of abs, which usually lines either above or below the belly button. And so that's going to be somewhere roughly about like right here. Okay, so we're going to go down here this way. Nice, easy peasy. Okay, and we'll put like one more little set there. But that's basically the rough idea of the abdominal muscles, right? And especially in side view, the big things to call out when drawing the torso from side view is, again, kind of drawing in that contour, because the ab muscles are going to overlap and protrude a little bit forward. And so you're actually going to cover some of the oblique muscles and the stuff on the other side there of the torso, right? But yeah, I would say that's about it really for this. In terms of the anatomy, the major anatomical groups that I talked about with you guys really was just going to be those flank muscles, the flank muscle there of the oblique, the serratus muscle there on the side, right? So all of those little muscle groups there are going to be the ones that I think are going to be the most important to focus on right now. All right. Let's see here. YouTube has been great. Yeah, I also got a YouTube channel, guys. By the way, YouTube videos. I got tutorials. If you guys like the tutorials that you're seeing here, I also got a YouTube channel. So go check me out over there if that's something that you like. If you like YouTube videos, I will give you guys a heads up though that I only do long videos now. So my YouTube videos are all like an hour to 2 hours to 3 hours long. So I know that might be scary for some people, and I apologize, but I try to give more longer term content because I feel like there's so many 5-minute YouTube videos of people who are just like 3 easy tips to avoid drawing mistakes. You know what I'm talking about? And like, those are cool. Those are fun. But like, I think there's just so many of those. And I personally, when I'm looking for stuff to learn and stuff, I want to find the stuff that like is giving me all the info, stuff that I can actually, you know, learn and practice along with, as opposed to just the clickbaity short form content that you see on TikTok, Instagram Reels, and all of that stuff, right? So just a heads up, my content is a little bit longer on YouTube, but if that's something you're cool with, I'd say check it out. Check it out on YouTube, you know? Hours long. Yes. Very, very long. And thank you for the 100 bits, Prebis. Appreciate that. Did we get a oh, we do have a raffle giveaway. Okay, we'll do one in a bit because I think we got a lot of things to cover still, and I don't want to distract away from what we were talking about today. So we'll do a quick raffle in a second. Thank you for the 100 bits. Appreciate that. Will there be a day about drawing tummies sitting while slouched? I struggle with skin stomach folds over itself. You know what? That's a good request. Maybe what we'll do is I'll do a day where we do some dynamic poses maybe, and then I'll find a pose that covers exactly what you're talking about. Because I think I want to move on from drawing torsos, or at least the anatomy of the torso next week, and I want to focus more on the arms next week. So next week will be an arms week. So we'll actually be drawing out the torso and the arms and all of that stuff next week. So woohoo! Right now we've been chopping off the arms of these characters, so I apologize. We'll be reviving their arms next week. All right, but I'm gonna go ahead and clean this one up a little bit. In the meantime, I'll talk to you guys a little bit about that topic we had earlier. Yeah, Marcus, Markimus, if you want to retype that question, please do, and that way I can let people know. Oh, perfect. There you go. Let's see here. All right, so for those of you who are watching from YouTube, basically the comment right here from Markimus was talking about the frustration of wanting to draw more complex, difficult things, but feeling like your level is not there, right? There's a gap in the expectation of what you want to draw versus the reality of what you're actually capable of doing. And oftentimes this gap leads to a frustration that actually makes you feel like you don't want to draw at all. Maybe it makes you even want to give up because it's just like, hey, why can't I do the things that I want to do, right? So I'll talk a little bit about that right now because I think that's actually a really great topic and maybe even a common problem amongst artists, whether you're a beginner or even more professional, right? I think we all struggle with some form of that. And I will do that while I am cleaning up this guy right here. So that way I'm trying to like multitask here. All right, so let's talk a little bit about that, right? So oftentimes, I guess where should I start with this one? I'll talk about I'll break it down like this. So the way that I see it is if you want to tackle this problem, you can solve it, I think, in one of two ways. One, you either understand your expectations, ask yourself, hey, why do I have these expectations? Why am I expecting to draw these type of things, right? Is it because I'm excited to draw these kind of things? Or is it because I'm seeing stuff on Instagram and I see like some 14-year-old artist who's killing it and here I am, I'm old, I was never this good at 14, but like what's going on with me? Why can't I draw these things, right? So understanding why you want to draw these things can be very helpful because the more you understand what's going on there, I think the better you'll be able to approach some of your frustrations. If you want to draw stuff because you're feeling excited about it, then what you can do is realize like, okay, well, I want to draw these things out and I want to get to a level that gets there. So one, understanding your expectations and possibly even adjusting your expectations, but two, going back to the reality of what you're able to do and being honest with yourself and saying, hey, what am I able to do right now? And if I truly want to have these expectations and stuff, what do I need to do today to get there? And yes, drawing boxes. I think part of the comment there was, I think this person, Markimus, was saying how they realize that, they got to level up to do these things, but they also, maybe they're like, I don't want to draw boxes all the time, right? Like how many of you guys feel that way sometimes where you're like, man, I just want to get good today, but I don't want to draw these boring boxes. I don't want to necessarily read all the anatomy, right? I got in this question all the time in my chat where it's like, do I really need to know the anatomy to draw? The short answer is no, you don't need to. But I do think that there are ways to make learning more fun, more enjoyable, and also more integral in the personal work that you're doing, such that it doesn't feel like it's a chore. It doesn't feel like you are fighting against yourself and the desire you have to want to get better and to want to make better things, right? And part of the ways to do that, honestly, I think, is by combining your studying with the things that you're drawing. So, like, for example, here I drew some boxes for you guys earlier, right? I showed you guys here, I drew some boxes, but notice how I didn't stop there, right? I took these boxes and I said, hey, you know what? I want to go draw the rib cage for these boxes. Then I want to go even further and see how much further I can keep going. And there's a lot you can even do with the boxes as well, right? So you can draw these boxes in, let's say, different angles. Maybe you want to draw the angle of a box going this way because you're trying to understand how to draw boxes in perspective. So I think personally, you don't have to just draw boxes because someone tells you to draw boxes, or to draw the anatomy because someone told you that the anime style sucks, or whatever, right? Draw these things and study these things because you realize that you want to do them because they're going to lead to the goal that you ultimately want to get to, right? I think that's part of the problem is sometimes people, and this is something that I've actually had difficulty with, was when I was still a beginner artist, I had art teachers back in high school who would tell me things like, hey, don't draw in the anime style. That's not real art. You should study the masters. Go learn some anatomy. Put an F in the chat if you've ever heard that, in your time, or maybe you've heard other people being told those things before, right? I was always told, like, yeah, don't do this. You have to learn this. And, I think a lot, while those comments were misplaced, I think like there were definitely better ways to say that. I do think at the end of the day, what my art teachers were trying to say was, hey, if you want to level up, or this is what I wish they had said, was if you really want to level up your skills and you want to take it to that next level, try learning some anatomy to kind of make your characters look and feel more realistic, right? You can still do the anime style and all of this and that, but I was really stubborn, but I still tried to listen. So I reluctantly tried to learn anatomy. And the problem with trying to reluctantly learn anything and not really understanding why you should learn it in the first place and not wanting to learn it is that you're not going to retain anything. The first time that I ever learned anatomy, nothing really stuck because I was just staring at diagrams all day and I was just like, bro, this is so boring. I don't want to just stare at diagrams all day. I want to actually draw my Naruto Uzumakis. I want to draw my Ichigo Kurosakis jumping around. Why do I got to look at diagrams? And that's part of the problem, right? Is like there's that disconnect. But the moment you realize like, oh man, dude, if I learn the anatomy, I'm going to learn how to draw muscular characters. If I learn the anatomy, I can learn how to actually make my characters have foreshortening and all of that stuff, right? When it's something that you personally want for yourself, then the studying becomes easy because you'll realize that the studying is actually leading you to be able to do the things that you want to do. So the gap between the expectation and reality that we talked about earlier and the frustration, I think it comes down to understanding your expectations, right? And then from understanding those expectations, come to realize what it is that you need to do to match that and kind of shrink that gap. And also possibly it's, again, maybe your expectations are too high, or maybe it's a matter of you having to level up your skills. But I think understanding why it is that you should level up your skills and why you should be doing these studies and all that stuff, and how to incorporate that with your personal work, I think that's kind of the key there for hopefully overcoming these frustrations. But yeah, there you go. I would say that is that is my answer to your question. I think it's a very great question, and I hope that it was helpful. Thank you for the 100 bits. Did we really hit 30K? There's no way. Did we actually hit 30K today? I think we're close, but if we did, let's go. Is it bad that it seems like I'm getting better at helmets but lacking in full forms? Not necessarily. I think progress with art can go at different paces and stuff, right? I think there are times, for example, like how many of you guys in the chat have ever felt this way where you're like, oh man, Kaycem, I'm really good at drawing male characters, but when it comes to drawing female characters, I suck. Or vice versa. Like, man, I know how to draw female characters so well, Kaycem, but the moment I try to draw a male character, it's trash. I gotta close this up, not looking at drawing again. Put an F in the chat if you've ever had that problem before, guys, where you feel like you're really good at drawing one thing. Or how about this one? Here's another one. How about this? Kaycem, I know how to draw faces so well. I know how to draw portraits so well, but the moment I try to draw the rest of the body, damn, it's looking a little sus. You know what I'm saying? If you've ever had that, I don't think that's a bad thing, right? I think it just means that you've developed your skills in a certain way. But oftentimes I think part of the problem that I see with a lot of beginner artists is that they let this discrepancy in their skill really bring them down. And I used to be that way all the time because, again, like that example I gave, right? It's like you draw something and then the moment that it doesn't turn out good, instead of trying to tell yourself like, hey, you know what? I know that I'm really good at drawing male characters. I just need to level up my female characters. You know, obviously I'm not going to be as good drawing female characters. Instead of doing that, what I used to say was, dude, I suck. I'm just going to keep drawing male characters again. Let me go back to my comfort zone, right? And just stay there. And then people get frustrated. They come to me and they say, Kaycem, I don't know why I feel like I plateaued. I feel like I'm not growing anymore. You know, I keep drawing every day, but I feel like I haven't grown. What's going on, Kaycem? And then I ask them, I say, hey, well, have you tried drawing new things? What do they say? They say, yeah, I've tried, but it just doesn't look as good. So you could imagine if I were to do this as a graph, this is the graph of growth, right? I'm making this up right now, but imagine this is your graph of growth, right? Maybe you tried a lot of new things when you first started out, and then here you are now, right? Present day artists, you guys over here. And so here you are, you know, you're trying all these things, and then maybe one day you're like, let me try something new. But then the moment as you start to try to learn something new, you shut yourself down and you say, oh, this doesn't look good. Let me go back to my comfort zone. And so what happens? It's a lost opportunity and you plateau again. And maybe you have these situations where maybe you try new things, but then you're like, no, I can't. Let me just go back. And so what happens? You stay in this comfort zone, right? This zone right here where you only draw the things that you are good at, but you at the same time want to get better. You want to do all these things. So your expectations are holding you back. Now, again, this is not to say that if you draw the same things all the time, that's a bad thing. There are professionals who enjoy drawing in a specific style, and that's what they're okay with, right? I'm not telling you guys that you have to change your style every month or so, right? But what I'm saying is if you personally want to grow and you personally want to develop your skills, you have to actually give yourself the opportunity to do that. Right? Like if you keep shutting yourself down every time you try to do something new, it's not going to lead to good results. You're not giving yourself that opportunity. And so that's what I'll say. That's what I'll say about that. Hopefully that was helpful. I know we're doing a lot of chatting today, guys. But I hope that all this chatter is valuable to you guys or to anybody out here who's listening right now. I understand. It's something that I used to struggle with, and on occasions I still struggle with. With these things. Yeah. There are different routes, right? There are specializations, jack of all trades. And I'm not saying to not do that and not to explore, right? A growth calendar schedule. A growth calendar schedule. I might have said something like that. Yeah. Growth calendar schedule. Oh, maybe growth calendar schedule. I don't know. That kind of sounds familiar, but I'm not sure. All right. So let's go ahead now. So we've done one of these torsos. Let's go in here and I want to do one more with you guys. So let's go ahead and do this one here. But I'm gonna make this one a little bit looser. So we're not gonna be focusing too much. Or actually, should we do a color diagram? We're okay. You guys are fine, right? You guys are okay. Here's what I'll do. I'll do this because I think in side view, the most important thing really is going to be this subsection right here. So this little subsection right here is probably the thing that you guys just need to know. And that's going to be comprised of this section right here of the obliques, right? So this oblique section. And then we'll have here the, let me do it in a different color here. Then you'll have here the serratus section right here. And I'll outline this in a second. Just give me 1 second. Normally I do this on a different layer, but okay. I'll clean that up, but I just wanted to show you guys that intersection. I think that's the most important thing. When you're drawing these serratus muscles, how many fans do you show? I usually show about 3. I would say it's really up to your style and stuff, and also depends on how muscular the person is. But I usually do about 3 to 4. If they're really muscular, 4. If they're regular muscular, 3. If they're kind of okay muscular, I'll do like 2. Which, by the way, guys, that actually reminds me. So on my stream here, I actually have some cheat sheets that you guys can download. So here's today's worksheet. If you guys want to follow along, you know, grab the sheet right here. Then I have this one from last stream where I go over some of the back muscles and a few other examples that I did there. And then also I made a new sheet for you guys. I totally forgot about this, but if you guys are interested in learning a little bit more about the facial features, the eyes, the mouth, the nose, the ears, all of that stuff, I made a sheet for that as well, guys. I'm going to be turning these into an art book later this year. I'll be compiling all my notes. So grab this one. This is a new sheet, so I don't think a lot of you guys have seen this one. All right, but these are free to grab on my Discord channel. All you got to do is type !Discord in the chat, join in and grab these. But again, these are only available while I'm live streaming on Twitch. So if you come and watch afterwards, the VOD or on YouTube or whatever, unfortunately you will miss it. So yeah, thanks for the follows, Metal Kinoko and Banana Yawi Chalbeck. Welcome in. All right, cool. Let me go ahead and let's do this pose here. Now for this one, I'm going to keep this one more loose. I'll keep it nice and chill with you guys. And then, yeah, and then we'll kind of just see how this one goes. So yeah, for this one, I'm going to keep this one nice and loose to just kind of show you guys how I would approach it if I'm not doing all these like forms and whatnot, and just kind of doing more of the general shapes, right? And let's see here. Thank you for the follows, Ton Berry, Sobieto Hori, and thank you for the prime sub, Ezumatic. Appreciate that, guys. Thank you. Welcome into the Kaycem crew for all the follows today. Thank you for the continuing of the gifted sub. Oh shoot, from Club. Thank you, Sax. So yeah, for this one, I'm going to speed it up a little bit, okay? Speed it up for you guys just to kind of show you how I kind of rough out these general shapes. And for those of you curious about how I work out these like proportions and stuff and how I kind of lay these out, I talk about it pretty in depth in a couple other videos in the past. So I would say just check out those videos where I go over how I lay out these simplified proportions. But again, overall, what I'm doing here is I'm just laying out roughly from that 10th rib here, kind of the same distance from the clavicle right here to the 10th rib, all the way down to the bottom of the pelvic bone. And that's kind of it. That's kind of how I'm laying out the general kind of shape there. Now I'm going to go ahead and just kind of lower the opacity. We'll draw on top here, and I'm going to lay out here the clavicle. Again, for me, the clavicle is arguably one of the most important bones in the torso because it just connects so many major things together. It's a really good connector for things. But yeah, welcome in everybody. And then during the ad break later, we'll do the raffle. So don't go anywhere just yet, guys. We got a raffle giveaway that we're doing later because thank you to the generosity of those of you guys who are cheering bits and all that stuff. We completed our bit goal, and so every time that happens, we do a raffle giveaway. All right, and there's a lot of cool prizes over there. We'll do that one after the ad break though. Let's see here. Should I talk about boobas with you guys? Maybe I should. What do you guys think? Booba anatomy, or are you guys good? I think we've covered it a few times on my stream, so I feel like we're good, right? You guys don't need me to cover that, right? I don't know. Let me know in the chat. Please do. I'm never opposed. Okay. It's honestly, I think a lot of it, so it's going to be a little difficult here because she is wearing a bra, so the volume here is going to be pressed up a little bit, right? So just keep that in mind. Some of you guys are wild in the chat. But generally what I like to think of when it comes to drawing, this section right here is I'm mostly thinking about one, where the connection of the breasts are, the boobas. And usually, I think some of the mistakes I see, even in my work in the past and kind of just in beginners and stuff, is not realizing that the boobas, all right, the breast section here, actually sits on top of the pectoral muscles, right? And so the overall volume and shape is going to be more like a teardrop shape. And that volume is going to really kind of round out here in the bottom, and then gravity will kind of bring that down to kind of help create some more of that shape. Again, this is why I said that this one's a little interesting, because she is wearing a bra that is pushing up some of that shape, and so you'll see a little bit more roundness there because of the shaping there of the bra. But overall, I would say it kind of is like a teardrop shape here that kind of just goes down this way, and there's so many different ways to draw it. But one of the things I like to do sometimes is I like to kind of find a bit of a flow here, a bit of an arch from the clavicle going downwards and kind of adding in some of that volume that way. And then on the inner side here, trying to build a little bit of contour for where the breasts are going to be. And then when I talk about adding the connection again of how the boobas connect to, you know, the pecs and stuff, this is actually going to be important because here, remember we talked about it here earlier, but the pectoral muscles do still insert into the shoulder right here. And so sometimes being able to add a little bit of that line or just denotion to kind of help show some of that volume can be helpful. Not always, but, you know, can be helpful to understand. So these are some tips that I would give. I think I have another cheat sheet where I can show you guys a little bit more about what I'm talking about. Let me see here if I have a cheat sheet for this. So in this cheat sheet right here, there's a little bit more in-depth examples there of how this area works with the volume and stuff. So again, talking a bit about the wrapping around of the forms and that insertion there, right? So just kind of keep that in mind. I think that's probably the most important thing. And again, gravity will do some magic as well. All right. But yeah, let me go ahead now and let me just kind of work on this one with you guys. And also, if it's your first time here, welcome into the Kaycem crew. My name is Kaycem. I am a Filipino art streamer here on Twitch. I teach everything from anatomy, gesture, perspective, to all things related to character design. And I also work full-time in the animation industry for the studio that made Castlevania. Right now, I'm prepping to work as a character designer on shows like Castlevania, Legend of Korra, and Invincible. So if you guys are interested in some art education or just character design stuff, or you're interested in my dog who sleeps over there, do leave a follow, join in if you're watching from YouTube and you've been enjoying the video so far. Make sure to, you know, like, subscribe, and all of that stuff. And yeah, welcome in everybody who's here. If you guys have any questions, by the way, please don't hesitate to ask. I try to make my streams as conversational as possible. So, you know, I'm not just here to draw. I'm here to, you know, talk to you guys and help you guys out. So if you have any questions, if you're curious about anything, feel free to ask. I usually answer the questions, unless they're like questions like, hey, what's your social security number? And, hey, can you tell me your mother's maiden name? You know, don't ask me those things because you already know the answer is no. I'm not going to tell you. But, you know, otherwise, general questions, yeah, feel free to ask them. It's a very chatty stream here for sure. Powerhouse, yeah, I work at Powerhouse Animation Studios. I don't see so I don't usually tell people that I work at Powerhouse because I feel like not a lot of people know Powerhouse. You know what I'm saying? People when I say Powerhouse are like, what's that? But if I say the studio that made Castlevania, they're like, oh yeah, I know Castlevania. I've heard of that show, right? So that's the only reason why I don't say Powerhouse, just because I know that people are like, huh? What is that? Never heard of that studio. It's not as what's the word? It's not as like well known as maybe some other studios like, I don't know, DreamWorks, Disney, all of that stuff. But I'm glad some of you guys know Powerhouse. They do a lot of cool things, Powerhouse. A lot of good things, a lot of good artists who work at the studio. I learn so much every day. Sometimes I look at people's work and I get imposter syndrome, and I'm like, damn, that's crazy. People are so good. and then I realize, you know what? I'm good too. I'm actually a good artist as well. It happens. How am I holding up? I'm holding up well. I'm excited that it's the weekend today. I get to relax after all of this. Oh, can I tell you guys something super silly? I know this is going to sound super silly, but I bought something for my birthday. Can you guess what it is? I'll show it to you guys. It's something that I can show you guys on stream easily. But I bought something for my birthday yesterday. Let's see if you guys can know. My birthday is next month in March 13. I'll be doing probably a subathon for that. But I bought something. It's something that no, not a figurine. Good guesses though. See the shows they make, more viewers, they thank you for the exposure. Yeah, there you go. A puppy friend? I wish. Can we get a hint? It is something that I can do with my friends. So it's a game of sorts. That's a huge hint, actually. it's a game of sorts. Yeah. Okay, I got a board game, but I'll show you. Not Twister. Okay. I want you guys to know that I have never played this game in my life, but I've always wanted to, but I just never, I don't know, I've never thought about doing it because I was always afraid. But I bought, look at me, I bought Dungeons and Dragons, the starter set. I even bought my own dice, okay? And I'll be playing this with my friends on my birthday. I've never played before. I don't know how it works, to be honest, but I'm going to do it. And I hope I don't get sucked into the trap of Dungeons and Dragons, because I've heard people get sucked into this game, and yeah. But I'll show you guys my custom dice that I bought because it looks nice. Okay. Sorry, I know we got distracted, but I'll show it really quick. I bought these pink dice because this little pink little dice right here. Let me show you. There's pink dice. Hello? Why is it not focusing? Come on, dice! Focus! Focus. Okay, I'll do it like this. Okay, there you go. I bought these pink dice because it reminded me of Himalayan pink salt, and I love Himalayan pink salt. anyways, yeah, that is what I got for myself, and I'll be playing that with my buddies on my birthday because they are down to play and they've never played it either. So this will be very interesting. I need to go learn a few things though. So if there's any D&D people in the chat, any experts or people who just play the game, join the Discord channel and let me know. Give me some stuff. I'll probably DM it. Yeah, because I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I'll be the one to DM it. But that's what we're gonna be doing, and yeah, I'm excited. I just hope it's not too fun. That's one of my worries. Is one of my worries is I'm gonna enjoy it a little too much, and then there goes my bank account. You know what I'm saying? You just get sucked into the world of D&D. You start buying handbooks. You start buying all the you know, the painted figures and all that stuff. Dangerous, spooky. But I don't even know what we were talking about prior to all this. Prior to me talking about all that stuff earlier, there was something I wanted to let you guys know, and I totally forgot. Apologies. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes we just get off topic, but I did want to show you guys at some point. Do you guys remember what we were talking about? Damn. Oh, Powerhouse. We were talking about, why were we talking about Powerhouse? Yeah, I work at Powerhouse. I remember now. We were talking about Powerhouse, and then we were talking about something else. It's okay. But hey, welcome in. Welcome in everybody who's coming in here today. Thank you for all the follows, guys. Jacob, Sad Luck, Sleepy Dylan, Gonza, Imaginations, Natty Man, Mim Desenha, and everybody else here. It was Boobas and Powerhouse. Yeah, what a combo. What a combo. Yes, so we were talking about Boobas. We did some tutorials of that. And then right now I'm just kind of doing a quick torso here for you guys. We did a lot of torsos already. And so right now this is just me showing you guys kind of how I would approach it. Again, I'm always just focusing primarily on basic shapes here. So I'm always just thinking about the simplified forms, and then from those simplified forms, adding in some of the volume and stuff that I'm seeing, right? But again, you don't have to make it complicated. You can keep it simple. You don't even have to do it the way that I'm doing it. I always encourage you guys to find the ways that feel most natural to you guys, right? Find the ways that feel comfortable to you. Now, okay, so there is one thing I did want to talk about. Unfortunately, so today I did want to do some art roasts, and I'm sure a lot of you guys, put an F in the chat if you guys would have wanted me to roast your art today. I'm just kind of curious to see how many of you guys would be interested. But I was thinking about doing an art roast today, but unfortunately I forgot that I have a class that I'm going to be attending in about an hour ish, and so I will not be able to do the art roast today. But I think next Saturday, guys, we'll do an art roast, okay? And it'll be really simple. All you guys got to do, even if you're watching from YouTube, all you got to do is just join the Discord channel, and on the day of, post your art on the art critiques channel. All right, and then that is where, that's gonna be where I'll be doing the art roast and stuff. And it's not gonna be like a roast where I'm just roasting your art. I will try to give you guys feedback, and I'll try to do some draw overs and kind of see if I can help you in whatever it is you're struggling in. So it's not just me trying to, bully you guys, though I know some of you guys would enjoy getting bullied. I'm sure that's a thing, but no, it'll be more kind of like constructive, me just being like, hey, this is what I'm seeing, and here's what you can do, type of thing. All right, so don't be too scared. Like, Kaycem, I don't want to get roasted on stream. Don't worry, I'm not gonna bully you guys. Honestly, I've tried to be mean in the past, and it's hard. I don't know how people do it. I need to learn from some of you guys on how to be mean. Let's see here. if you want to work on a character for a comic, would you spend time doing an OC in the standard turnaround style? I would only do the turnaround later. Honestly, I think stuff that's very technical, like turnarounds and all of that stuff, I think do that much later in the process. Let's see here. Thank you for the raid. Appreciate that, Yusef. I know you followed me earlier, right? I don't know you were streaming. Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate the raid. Thank you for the follow earlier. And I hope you had a good stream. Welcome in. Let's see. And thank you for the follow too, Andrea PBA. Let's see. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something and I totally forgot. Yeah. So in terms of the art roast, though, that'll be happening next week, most likely. So stay tuned for that one, guys. We'll be doing it, and I hope it'll be fun. I'm actually gonna be posting the art roast video that we did a while back on YouTube tomorrow. So stay tuned, because tomorrow at 8 a.m. I believe I'll be uploading a new YouTube video. It'll be the art roast that we did last week or 2 weeks ago, something like that. And so you guys can kind of see, for those of you who are like, do I want to get roasted by Kaycem? You can kind of get an idea of what my art roasts look like. They're not, I'm telling you guys, they're not spicy at all. I'm not good at bullying people. I'm more of like a, I don't know, helping out, nice guy. Boiling, not roasting. Thank you for the follow, Yo1, and everyone else who's coming in. Sheesh. Also, I don't know if we hit 30K today. I think some of you guys said we did hit 30K today. But if we did hit 30K followers on Twitch today, thank you so much, everybody. I really do appreciate that. Huge milestone out here. It's crazy because last year at this time, I hit 10K followers. And so to go in 1 year's time, 20K followers on Twitch, I think that's incredible. So shout out to everybody who's here. Welcome into the Kaycem crew. If you guys did follow me today, I would love to know how you guys came across my stream. If it was either from the recommended front page of Twitch, maybe you just searched the art category. Was it through YouTube? I genuinely am curious what brought you guys over here today, and welcome into the Kaycem crew. What is this? Too much feet? Thank you for the follows. What is this? Yo, wilding out here with these names, I swear. Welcome in, guys. Oh, also really quick, guys, I do run ads on my stream every hour, and one's gonna be running right about now. So if you do get an ad, thank you again for coming around here, and I appreciate you guys sticking around for the ad break. If you don't want to see any ads, consider subscribing or using a Prime sub. But either way, welcome into the Kaycem crew, and yeah. How come you use the white brush instead of the eraser? Oh, that's a great question. Because it's faster. It's purely because of speed. Because the thing is, I'm not working on like a professional illustration right now or anything like that. And so for me, I find that it's faster to just eye drop between white and whatever my drawing color is, which is going to be this maroon color here. And so it's just purely a matter of speed that I like to do it on. If I'm doing something professionally, I will not be doing that. I'll be using the eraser tool and kind of actually cleaning out the lines. But you can kind of see here, it's a lot faster for me to just go in and pick out the colors and then kind of fix that up a little bit, you know, than if I were to just go back and forth between the eraser tool. That's a good question, actually. Let's see here. No, I disabled that. I disabled the double tap feature because sometimes the double tap feature, especially if you're working really fast, it just happens on its own, and it's like really frustrating. when you're trying to draw and then all of a sudden it turns into an eraser tool. I hate it. I mean, some people might like it, but personally, I'm not a fan of it. So I just disabled it. Disabled it altogether. But yeah, I mean, if it works for you, I think that's great, right? I think that's kind of why they keep some of these features, is it works for some people and it doesn't for others. All right. Cool. Let me go ahead and shade this one out for you guys here, and I think we'll be good to go. All right, we got this one nice and clean out here. I'm using Procreate right now. All right. Yeah, I think, you know, again, it depends on different people. Okay, guys, so let me go ahead and wrap this one out. We're going to do a raffle in a bit, so just stay tuned for that one, guys. If you've never been here for the raffle Roni, it's pretty good. It's pretty fun. All right, so just stay tuned for that. We'll do that one in a quick second. This will be the 30K, celebrating 30K on Twitch raffle. Okay, that's what we're calling it today. How many of you in the chat have not been to my have not experienced my raffle yet? Put an F in the chat if you've never done a raffle giveaway on my stream yet. I'm just kind of curious today. I want to see if there's any new people out here today who are like, oh, I got no clue what we're in for today. Okay. Good number of you guys, actually. Also, let me know, guys, when the ad break is over. And then I think we'll we're good. How do you level up? Yeah. So we talked about this earlier, actually. There's a lot of different ways that we talk about leveling up and stuff. But I think personally one of the best ways to level up is to just a quick TLDR. Have some goals set in mind for what you want to achieve with your art. Realize your expectations and reality. Give yourself the opportunity to try new things, and find a community. Find a community, whether it's on YouTube, Twitch, or whatever, where you can actually practice together, share your work and your progress, and also help other people with their progress as well too. I think that's a quick TLDR, quick 10-second TikTok answer there of how to level up your skills quickly. If you want the longer answer, I would say check out my streams, hang out here a little bit more, or check out my most recent YouTube video, actually, where on one of my videos over there on YouTube, I actually talk a little bit about how to level up your skills quickly and how to study efficiently and stuff. But all right, let me go do a quick little wrap up on this one real quick before we do the raffle. All right, so welcome in again, everybody who's coming in here. Let me go do this professionally. My name is Kaycem, and I am a Filipino art streamer here on Twitch, and I teach everything from anatomy, gesture, perspective to all things related to character design. And I also currently work full-time in the animation industry for the studio that made Castlevania. Right now, I'm prepping to work as a character designer on shows like Castlevania, Legend of Korra, and Invincible. So if you guys are interested in any of those things that I mentioned, make sure to follow me on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube, like the video if you're watching from YouTube, and also say hi to my dog because he's over there.